Revolution now. Punk Revolution now. Today we're going to be reviewing Fontaines DC, their third album, Skinty Fia. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Skinty Fia. Fontaines DC are a band that I actually really enjoy a lot. I really like their debut album a lot, Dogrels, which came out in 2019. Just a super catchy, fun, enjoyable post-punk record, indie rock record, very catchy melodies stuck in my head all the time. It was one of my favorite rock albums of 2019. Not the most original, there's plenty of very dancey, fun post-punk music out there, but they got this like thick Irish accent, just super catchy melodies, just like, I don't know, just seemed like a really talented band. And they also released their sophomore album, A Hero's Death. I never got around to reviewing, but I thought that was also quite interesting as well, like seeing them attempt to get a little bit more serious and a little bit more depressing. Obviously, they're talented, and they nailed the accessible, catchy stuff with their debut album, so interesting to see them kind of experiment a little bit there, even though I wasn't into it as much as their debut. And now we've got their third album, Skinty Fia. I'm excited to see what they're doing. You know, it's fun. It's always fun when you find a band that you like a lot in their debut album and you can kind of just watch them continue releasing more stuff. Well, that's Fontaines DC, so let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the album cover and see if they're still doing... I'm not really sure I like this album cover. What the heck is going on? It's got like a deer inside a house that's all like red on... Is that on fire? Or is it just the red lights are really bright? And I don't know. It's just like the deer kind of looks CGI generated. I don't really know what the heck I'm looking at. But I look up the album title, Skinty Fia. What the heck is that? Well, that is some sort of extinct deer from Ireland, and of course there's a deer on the cover too. The Skinty Fia thing, I'm not exactly sure what's so special about the deer in Ireland. I guess they had some extinct deer there, but it just goes to show that Fontaines DC, they love being Irish. They love reminding you in their music that they're Irish and putting some kind of cultural references throughout their music that relate to Ireland, which I think is really cool. You know, I don't know if this band has like some sketchy Irish nationalism sort of politics or not, but regardless, I mean, maybe they just really love their country and are proud to be making really good music and representing their country, because, I mean, Ireland does have a lot of fantastic artists and musicians, and kind of fun, you know, it's fun when you're listening to catchy post-punk and you got that thick Irish accent. Let's just be honest, okay? Listening to Irish accents is just entertaining in its own right, and maybe this band wouldn't have the same charm if it wasn't for that Irish accent, so they're really proud of being Irish. For real, the first song on this album is called In Arg Croith Go Dio, assuming I pronounced that right, which I definitely didn't. I had to Google that, and that is the traditional Irish language, Irish Gaelic. Is that how you pronounce it? Gaelic? Is that really what the language is called? Gaelic? Irish Gaelic. All right, Fontaines DC. They've opened the album with a song that has some traditional Irish in it, along with the album title, Skinty Fia. Weird ass band. I said with their sophomore album, they did kind of venture into some kind of like darker experimentation. This track here, I feel like, is their very, very best execution at any sort of dark and dissonant experimentation, because it's the opening track. It starts with that, like, you know, that bass line just hitting that one bass note, and then it has this like kind of these backing vocals that are like it's kind of like spooky. It's like a spooky minor chord that's like slowly building up, and then we got those epic drums that are like kind of doing this breakbeat thing. So you got this kind of spooky bass line, spooky backing vocals, guitar riffs coming in with this fun, fast drum line. It kind of reminds me of like Radiohead, maybe like Idiotic, or what's that song called? Idiotic? You know that song from Kid A? And then like 2/3 throughout the song, I'm already really enjoying the first 2/3 because I like that vocal melody, and I just like the interesting experimentation. But the last third of the song, this whole song kind of transforms from this like minor dissonant chord that they're kind of building up, and it just like opens up to this like major chord for like the last third of the song. Just a subtle change, and it goes from feeling like real, you know, creepy dissonant build up to like a euphoric like whoa kind of moment, which is really freaking awesome. That's just a really fantastic experimentation. Unusual, song structure that's not just verse, chorus, very linear, and it shows that, you know, Fontaines DC, yes, they kicked butt with Dogrel, but when they want to experiment, and they definitely want to experiment with some more depressing stuff here, they've got it, they're capable of it. After the opening track, they do kind of resort back to more traditional song structures, verse, chorus, post-punky, very bass-driven, you know, loud drums with guitar riffs that are super reverby, definitely getting some Interpol-ish kind of vibes here, the way it's like post-punk with enough reverb that kind of gives just like a tinge of like a shoegaze vibe, which I feel like sometimes Interpol does as well. Super depressing atmosphere, super depressing vocals that are really seem to be centered around heartbreak and just sheer misery. This vocalist clearly went through a heartbreak, and it shows, and it just seems like he was so depressed, and he just wrote an entire album in his ball of depression, because it is just nonstop depression, which makes sense for post-punk. That's what you want to hear, I guess, with post-punk. It is a dark and depressing genre. I have to say, like, the vocalist, I think he's a fantastic vocalist, a lot of character and personality, and I love his lyrics too coming through. And like I said, he's got that fantastic Irish accent that works so well in Dogrel. I honestly think for this album though, when he's like singing like really dark, depressing songs, like it doesn't always work so well, because he just sounds like boom, 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 like it just kind of sounds a little goofy to me, you know, like the goofiness is like really charming, especially when the songs are more catchy and fun, but I feel like sometimes when it's like so depressing, it just kind of it's like hard to really get into too much, which maybe is that offensive? Is that like an insult to the Irish people? I'm sorry, but I will say it really did work out in some songs. Jackie Down the Line, I think, is a perfect example of this band managing to execute the catchiness that I love so much from Dogrel with the darkness and depressing lyrics that they've captured in Skinty Fia, but in a way that just like kind of comes together super well, because you have that like super just like catchy vocal melody. I feel like this song kind of has like a little bit more speed to it than the other songs that just kind of allow it to just have a more like like you just like it's just like supremely catchy, and it works like really, like I said, it captures the chart. It's one of those songs that just like exploits Fontaines DC's strengths to the max, blending it together with their creative, depressing, dark vision really, really well. And I love that production. I love the way in the second verse that like acoustic guitar comes in on the side. This production on this album it's really interesting. I think it's kind of a mixed bag, because you can tell they really are trying super hard with the experimentation. Like you might just hear in a song randomly like a guitar riff kind of through the side, and that's pretty cool. And like I said, it's an interesting blend of like post-punk and shoegaze with like this kind of dark vibe to it. It sounds fantastic in Jackie Down the Line, but I feel like there's sometimes I'm just like not so sure that I'm like super convinced I love the production so much. I feel like it's like a little too, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like this is such a nerdy and dumb kind of complaint, but I just feel like sometimes the frequencies just kind of I don't know what I'm even talking about, but I don't know enough about mixing and mastering to even say this, but I feel like the frequencies sometimes just kind of mesh in a way that takes away from the album. I guess you could take the song like The Couples Across the Way, for example. Like that song is literally just an accordion and vocals, and it's obviously supposed to be a very minimal and quiet song that's sort of like a catch your breath. You know how they put a lot of albums put those quieter, chill songs that are more ambient in the middle to kind of help with the album dynamics and flow. That's kind of what this song is serving. It's like 3.5 of just really beautiful accordion and just like a real gentle vocal melody. Even though this is such a simple and frankly quiet song, some reason it kind of hurts my ears. Like I feel like this isn't a song that's supposed to be super beautiful and chill, but it just kind of sounds like I don't know. Can anyone tell me if I'm crazy? Am I being too picky here? Can someone listen to this song and tell me if like the frequencies are like aggressive or abrasive in this song, or am I just being a paranoid tryhard that's like overthinking it? I just don't feel like it's a very beautiful song, even though it should be a beautiful song. And besides my mixed feelings about the production, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, I feel like some of these songs too, like sometimes they're really nailing it, like the opening track and Jackie Down the Line, and there's actually the last couple of songs too. I feel like they really do nail, like I said, combining their catchy charmingness, their charming catchiness that they nailed in Dogrel with their depressing experimental post-punky shoegaze vision that I know they so badly want to. It seems like they really want to like get a reputation as like a seriously artsy band and not just a band with a catchy, accessible album as well. I can see that vision, and sometimes they nail it, and sometimes they really don't. I don't know exactly what it is. I think really it comes down to the songwriting. I feel like some of the songwriting on this album is just like real, like they just kind of chose mediocre melodies and chose mediocre riffs to kind of just build with, and then tried to make some of these songs interesting by kind of throwing like some fanciness in the production. Then sometimes I like the fanciness in the production, but sometimes I feel like it's overcompensating. So pretty mixed bag all around, but like I really, really like this. Like I like this album a lot, and I really like this band a lot, even though it's like inconsistent. So I don't know. Like I still want to give this like a 7.7 out of 10. Like I still like want to give it like a thumbs up, good score, even though it's not executed perfectly. Especially because it does have some songs that like Jackie Down the Line. That song's gonna be stuck in my head all the freaking time. That is like a classic, super catchy post-punk song. One of the best rock songs of the year so far. So those are my thoughts. I feel like this was kind of a complicated review, but I guess it's kind of a complicated album as well. So you make what you would like to make of that. And shout out to Ireland. And I gotta trim the heck out of my mustache. Jesus Louise. Someone should have told me that. Punk Revolution now. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Always so much for channel when you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Punk Revolution.